Although John Lennon famously said, "Nothing affected me until I heard Elvis. Without Elvis, there would be no Beatles," it would seem that Elvis did not have the same admiration. When it comes to Elvis and the Beatles, at best, they had a strained relationship. The only well-publicized meeting between the two occurred on August 27, 1965, in which John Lennon said that he liked the King's sideburns. However, it was not all quaint, with Paul McCartney later revealing that he didn't like Elvis's new stuff half as much, and that they told him that during the visit. Some reports recount a jam session between the King and the band, although other reports dispute it. Elvis and the Beatles were never friends, and the relationship crumbled after a few years. On December 21, 1970, Elvis had his iconic meeting with President Nixon, in which he gifted him with a mounted Colt 45. According to the National Archives, Elvis told Nixon that the Beatles had been a real force for anti-American spirit. Then he claimed that the Beatles came to this country, made their money, then returned to England where they promoted an anti-American theme. Nixon nodded his head in agreement, and the conversation transitioned to general complaints about drugs and protests. In early 1971, Elvis would take a tour of the FBI offices, in which he would talk to then-director J. Edgar Hoover. He called Hoover the greatest living American, then began targeting the Beatles. He said, "The Beatles laid the groundwork for many of the problems we are having with young people by their filthy, unkempt appearances.